This week on the 5-Minute Book Review, sit down and get ready for it. It's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Now with Ultraviolet Mayhem. That's right, author Seth Grahame-Smith, say that 5 times fast, spun his magic all over the Jane Austen classic. And while he did put zombies in the book, he somehow managed to keep 85% of the original text. Seriously, let that roll around in your head for a minute. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. All right, coin toss to start, and Ian is the winner.
5-Minute Book Review with Curtis and Ian, and today's book is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I gotta say, first and foremost, there are 2 things I am not a massive fan of. I'm not a big fan of zombies, and I'm not a big fan of Jane Austen. But you know what? Awesome. I've read Pride and Prejudice several times for several classes, and reality check, I don't like it. But I can honestly say that this guy has done a great job of melding these 2 abhorrently different concepts together. He's made something that's funny, that's interesting, that's weird, that actually made me think about Jane Austen in a different way and actually appreciate and want to go back and read her work again, just to see if he saw something there that I didn't. It is probably one of my favorite books actually written in the last few years. Like, it is just absolutely stellar. I cannot recommend this enough, and it has been a surprising juggernaut for interest in the press, in the media, just around.
Juggernaut?
Oh, yeah.
The juggernaut was my headache of trying to get through this book, Ian. This book is the equivalent of Lorne Michaels taking a 5-minute Saturday Night Live sketch and stretching into an hour-and-a-half movie. By page 9, I was like, what? Oh, I'm bored. I suffered through, the original Pride and Prejudice the first time. Adding zombies in, again, it's like, who's reading this book? I realize this is a bestseller, but who sits down and says, oh, I really like Pride and Prejudice, and I like zombies? Right there, you're like, what? Let's make a book about it. It was a tough read for me, Ian. I'll be 100% honest. I was not getting it. The joke was old after 9 pages, and it just kind of kept going back to the same thing, and you're like, oh, now it's violent. Nothing's changing, nothing's new, nothing's different. Again, who's reading this book, Ian? How is this a bestseller? Who's giving this positive feedback? You're putting zombies in a classic, and it's not clever after the 10th page. It's old.
I completely disagree. If you were going into Pride and Prejudice and Zombies expecting something other than Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, you might be a little drunk. It promises exactly what it delivers. It says on the front cover, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. What were you thinking it was going to be? Were you expecting a bit of Slaughterhouse-5 in there too? It is what it is. I will say one thing, there's an appearances by ninjas in the book that is really, as odd as this is for me to say, out of place.
I do, however, really love the artwork. I'll see if we can get that close enough. But yeah, this one has been the very first book you've ever recommended to me, Ian, where I struggled through it. Like, after seriously about the 10th page, I was just like, oh, when is this going to end? I didn't like Pride and Prejudice the first time, and now there's zombies. What? If you like zombies, go read a book about zombies. If you like Pride and Prejudice, go read Pride and Prejudice. I think this thing gained popularity because it's just daring enough that, people who don't read zombie books can be like, oh, I read this delightful zombie book. Let's talk about it at my dinner party.
Oh, no, man. I think you gotta let yourself go into it more than that.
Dinner party zombies, Ian.
Dinner party zombies. I'm not sure how often that comes up.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get into it. I found this book incredibly hard to go through. Incredibly hard to read, Ian. What's the appeal, Ian? You said yourself.
Reinvention and reimagination, man. Like I said, for someone like me who isn't a fan of either things, to read something that reimagines, reinvents, and combines in such an excellent fashion, I got no problems with it, man. I thought it was really well done.
Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Is this kind of an ongoing thing? They keep adding zombies to other things, don't they?
Unfortunately, yeah, it is probably going to become a long-term trend of people just tossing zombies into things. I'm not so sure about this gentleman's next book either. It's called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, so...
Yeah, because that's way less ridiculous than Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Oh, that's way far left field.
But it won't be as good.
No, it won't be as good?
No.
Read it. There's the first time.
Read it.